500 years ago, due to conflict they had with the first European settlers who arrived in this area. Then in 1780, our cave was rediscovered by normal farmers. The farmers went in search for sheep that wandered off in the mountains outside. So by accident, in search for these animals, they stumbled on our entrance. And this is also the only natural entrance to the caves. At the end of our tour, we will use a different exit. That exit was man-made so our tours can flow. You can see big groups. Every half an hour, 50 to 100 people moving in and out of the caves. There's days in the high season we get about 2,000 people moving in and out. So to prevent roadblocks, we were forced to create another opening. So yes, we do use a different exit later. Now ladies and gentlemen, with the kids, sometimes the babies, they tend to get uneasy or difficult with the humidity in the cave. If it is a problem, you are allowed to leave the group anytime. The route lights is on, so there's no problem, you can leave the group anytime, alright?
Won't get lost?
No. If you follow the lights, you won't get lost. If you go off the route with the lights, you will get lost. Like the one lady told the kids, you have to stay with mommy because the baboons will come out and eat you. So stay on the route with the lights, stay with the parents, and yeah, let's stay together, alright? Now we start with 72 steps leading us down to the first chamber. Please be careful, the steps are not all the same size. Some are also wet and slippery, so where there's railings, hold on tight and please be careful, alright? So, let's go. Let's go, sir. That's right. Yes, come on, everyone.
Because we're not coming back out
about the staircase you see up there. We will not use the same staircase later to exit. If you go to your left, right, there you will see So that's why later I will have to switch off all the root lights in here just as you can experience. Hopefully, no one is afraid of it. Right. Okay. Don't stress, I will give you a warning before I switch off the lights, okay? Now the cave itself formed naturally due to water erosion, washed out by waters millions of years ago. It has been scientifically proven that our cave started to form over 20 million years ago. So this basically means that Cango Caves is 20 million years old. Our full cave is 5.4 kilometers long. Only the first 1.2 kilometers is open for us, the public. The bigger part has been closed off to protect. Now in our cave you will be able to find just two basic types of formations. We have the well-known dripstone formations. They are called stalactites and stalagmites. Stalactites grows from the ceiling downwards. Please focus above our heads in my torchlight. This is the biggest stalactite formation on the roof, estimated to be 750,000 years of age. Its nickname is the dry tobacco leaf of Oudshoorn. Alright. Then whenever it rains, the water will seep through the mountain into the cave. Water from stalactites eventually drips down to the floor. The water contains a mineral, calcium carbonate. The mineral slowly starts building up, it crystallizes or hardens, and that is how the stalagmites then start forming. Please open your eyes wide at the back of this chamber. This is a good example of a stalagmite. 8 meters in height, 150,000 years of age. It's nicknamed as the needle of Cleopatra. So that's the dripstones. Please follow my torchlight to the left. The next formation in my torchlight is a flowstone formation. This is the biggest flowstone formation on the route. They start forming with a horizontal crack in the ceiling. Rainwater slowly seeps through, and they deposit these calcite crystals against the wall. 800,000 years of age, and it's nicknamed as the organ pipes. Organ, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, our nature here is not just known for beautiful formations. What it's also known for is for the very good acoustics we have here. And due to this lovely acoustics, we used to have classical concerts in this chamber. First concert started in 1964. Last concert was in April 1994. After 30 years, the concerts were stopped, mainly due to vandalism, because they couldn't have control over everyone. Too many people together. We are still a small group now. Ladies and gentlemen, with the concert, they had sometimes 1,000 to 1,500 people all stacked together in here. And some people started moving deep into the caves alone or unguided. And that's when they started climbing, they started touching, and also breaking off the rock formations, all for souvenirs and decorations. So, due to this, our lovely concerts were stopped. In the corner, we were listening later. Please send to see what you can find again. While you stand, and let's start in front. Now, standing here, this used to be the stage where the artist performed on. Alright, so no more classical concerts. Now, as I promised, I would now like to take you all back into time by switching off the lights in here. So if you need to hold on to the kiddies, take their hands or pick them up. We all remain standing where you are, and focus on the light in front. This will be the only available light on in here. And lastly, ladies, from my side, I hope you trust the person standing next to you. Bye, guys. Alright, remember there was no cell phones and cameras in 1780, so please, let's switch off the cell phones. 1780. That's about all the farmer could have seen the first day he set foot in here. Let's go back to modern day and age. Show lights. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have about 2 minutes now to quickly walk around in this chamber. Thank you.
2 minutes. Was it with a pink outside? Is dat nog 1 minuut? Van die voor de...
Foto's van de actie. Die musst du dich ja noch nog een keer te maken.
Wacht in mijn naam.
sideways. Some say that the columns they grow more or less like the human body. Ladies and gentlemen, I see a few of our visitors are ready to move. Done with the photo, so we have to proceed up the steps and try towards the last chambers. The big and tall ones like me. And you, sir. Mind your head, please. The deeper we go, the lower the ceiling tends to come. So just be careful. You guys in front, you can slowly start leading us up. Follow the left side, I'm right behind you.
De indruk op? Stap aan. Stap. Van de trap is op. Kan je niet trappen?
Cango of wacht niet. Quentin.
It's amazing.
I've got a new friend. Okay, I will wait for you guys in the third shape. I just want to get to the ones in front. Because the first ones are always the quick ones. I don't want to lose there. That is the last thing. People in front.
Underground, yeah.
It's underground, yeah. We're inside of the mountain.
We're going to reduce your breakfast now. Put two beans and bacon on the wall now. Okay. Standing still.
Quentin. Daar is goed. Daar is goed. Masih niet akar. Niet de fles van zit gewoon die jongen.
I'm getting from my head. You're okay. And mommy's okay. But my head.
Hey, what's that mean though?
No.
Not yet.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it seems we're going to have a problem. The ones on the platform, while waiting for the last ones to join, focus shine down to the floor like the front shower. That is how the floors used to look like before. We started filling or leveling the floors up to make it safer for you guys to move. Mind your head, mommy, don't break our rocks down. It's not you, mom. From India.
Where's the like they've fallen?
Guys, the floors in front, you should take a photo because that's the natural floors down there, alright? Down there, in front. You see there's a route still coming through. The old tourist route. You can be lucky we're not using it anymore today. They lost a few nanas down there. Oh. About 40 years ago.
Did it just collapse in there?
Sorry, sir?
Did it collapse or something?
No, it didn't collapse. It was just dangerous with those openings. Because people lost babies, mother-in-laws.
Hierdie is sulke blinkertjies.
Can I switch off? So, you can see the sparkly crystal in Okay, everybody here? I'm just waiting on Karoo and Christian. Two colleagues in training, the two brothers. Karoo with the C, Christian with the C. And I'm Colin with the C. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, excuse me for the kids now. This is the honeymoon suite. Hello, Uncle. Have you been on honeymoon before? Where's the wife?
I have to go there for honeymoon.
We don't use it anymore today. Let me tell you why. The main reason for honeymoon suite is in the spotlight at the back. That's our heaven bed. A normal bed, 4 posters. Cango caves, 14 posters. If you count, you will see there is 12 outside, and then with the spotlight on the inside, there's the extra 2. And the 2 inside is the problem. The honeymooners complain and they say the bed is really uncomfortable. But then we discovered some surprises here. Follow my torchlight, please, and turn around. The last honeymoon couple, they left us with a champagne bottle. And after the champagne, just a few months later, in the ceiling, there we discovered a cave baby. Small stalactites, okay? Now Karoo is saying the babies are cute. Now these babies, ladies and gentlemen, they were dated to be 300 to 500 years young. In a cave system, when the rock formations are dated to be younger than 1,000 years, then all those formations are declared as young. Alright. Now there is hundreds of thousands of caves in the world. Even in India, you come from India. There's also caves, natural formed caves, even man-made caves in India. But you can visit any cave in the world, you will always notice stalagmites are bigger than the stalactites. Why? Stalagmites grow faster. The stalagmites, they grow with gravity. Gravity pulls the water from stalactites quickly down. So at the bottom, stalagmites get fast dripping water. That is why they build up much quicker. Stalactites usually grow 3 to 7 millimeters in 100 years. 7 millimeters. Stalagmites, growing from the floor upwards, they do more or less double. They do 10 to 15 millimeters, also in 100 years. So if you really just go sit and you think about the disaster that happened in the past, you will realize that people, they actually destroyed hundreds of thousands of years in a few seconds. It's sad because with the half desert climate that we have today in this area, in our lifetime, those formations that has been destroyed, they will actually never grow back again because we do not get that much rainfall. Millions of years ago, we had a subtropical climate in this area. The full cave system was filled with water. This whole area was covered in seawater. But due to climate change and time that passed, the waters dried up. Today, only when it rains, a few days later, the water seeps through. We have a constant temperature in our caves of 18 to 20 degrees, whole year through. Doesn't matter what season we are outside. And then you can feel at this point, the cave is really humid. You can feel the humidity on your skin actually. The reason for humidity is ventilation. The food system I told you is 5.4 kilometers long. Right at the end is no opening. So fresh air doesn't circulate inside. Fresh oxygen comes in with the entrance and the exit only. That now is about 400 to 500 meters away from us. So the deeper we move in, the more humid it gets. On the easy route that we're doing, we have about 50 to 60% humidity on our route. If you book the second tour, that is called Adventure Tour, where they crawl and climb and slide. 1.2 kilometers. At the back there, they have about 90% humidity. So being active, crawling, climbing with humidity, they do sweat a lot at the back. But we are lucky for us, we are not doing adventure. I'm too sexy for adventure. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody's still okay. We only have one more chamber left and we have to say goodbye. Is that okay? Alright, let's go. This way. Where's the wife, sir? Oh, she's going to leave her now. By the grace of God, she's here. Let's go, everyone.
I thought Dawn needed to
Hopefully it's money.
Have you guys the last one?
No.
Yeah, we got the bag.
Hopefully no one stays in the honeymoon suite. Are you the last ones?
I am.
Oh, nearly.
Nearly, almost.
Okay, we have to make space for the last ones, guys. We might just moving more a bit to that side.
You're the last.
You the last. Okay, cool. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the last guys are here. Can I have your attention, please? Boys and girls, listen to me, please. Thank you. This is our last chamber, guys. We are standing now roughly 600 meters into the cave from the entrance. So this is where we will say goodbye. If you turn around, at the back you can see there's a set of steps going down. That is where the adventure tour visitors, they spend 4 tunnels where they crawl and climb and slide through. After each tunnel there is a big open space like this, where you can stand up straight and relax. So if you are a bit claustrophobic, if you are big and sexy like me, or even if you are just lazy, you can stop after a tunnel and wait, because as I said, they do return with a loop. Alright, 90 minutes is the normal time. If you have a big group, maximum people in one group, 30 people. If you have 30 people together, sometimes down there, they are busy for 2 hours. And you can imagine that not all of the visitors fit in the tunnels. People sometimes do get stuck. Longest adventure tour in our caves was 11 hours. That's all that I'm going to say. You can Google longest adventure tour in Cango caves. You will get the newspaper articles still. Alright. Now, before we say goodbye, guys, behind you. In my torchlight, this formation is our African drum. On this side, we used to play with the hands, and you hear a hollow drum-like sound. The oil, sweaty hands, is the reason why this side is so dark. But the rock formation is not hollow, okay? This is a solid formation. The hollow sound, okay, Karoo is going to play the drum for us. Come. Come, Karoo, here you go. Slow. Don't okay, Karoo can't. Karoo's got the drum play. His brother Christian. Okay, they're going to be doctors. Listen carefully, please. Alright. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is also a calcite crystal formation. If you focus, you will see shiny, sparkly crystals. Calcite crystals. It is not diamonds, okay? I'm switching off the lights quickly. Remain standing. Flashlight off, please. You will now see with my torch behind the rock. Our drum is semi-transparent or translucent. Alright. So this is just due to the shiny, sparkly crystal inside. Our African drum. Load shedding. I'm joking. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as I told you now, this is the last trip, so sadly we have reached the end of the tour now. I hope that you enjoyed it with me. I also hope it was informative enough. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you all for coming to the Cango Cave.
Can I? Storig. Nee, ek wil nog hierdie binne geneem.
Nee.
Ja, af vir die. Quentin?
Soon the badges was lost. Silence was serious. Then, less than 200 years after the first story began, people's quest for knowledge led them to explore the unique combination of factors that brought caves into existence. Through lunch, they made them and set them to study. They took that knowledge to the Cango caves, setting up monitoring systems to measure all internal barriers and to establish environmental interviews. Today, visitors to the caves play a vital role in sustaining the local economy. They also play a vital role in sustaining the well-being of the caves themselves. As a result, various measures have been instituted to re-establish their vitality commitment.
And a multitude of the tiniest water drops have been at work together. The vast mystery of their creation has been seen by only a handful. We are attempting to join that number. This is a journey to the physical heart of the little Karoo. It was the ostrich who first brought this region to prominence and still makes up its most plentiful inhabitant. The beauty of the town of Oudshoorn is largely due to the money which came flooding in when the designers in faraway Europe decided that no lady could possibly venture out in public without a few plumes of ostrich somewhere on her person. The local sandstone was sculpted into many ingenious forms to build lavish homes for those who profited from the feather boom. But there's another reason for the international renown that the town of Oudshoorn is attracted. One that is not so obvious on the surface. Cango was the name given not specifically to the caves, but to the whole Swartberg range by the sand, a hunter-gatherer people who lived here for many thousands of years. It means place of water. The sand were a people used to looking beyond the surface, whose world was constructed of an intricate web of beliefs and symbols that we now only dimly understand. They felt the presence of the waters here. They were right. The rock that makes up this landscape started forming at the bottom of an ancient ocean which once covered this area, an impossibly lengthy process which began 800 million years ago with the laying down of beds of limestone. Later, the pressure from the Earth's crust, which caused the continents to inch towards their present homes, forced the layers of rock in this area to crinkle and fold, buckling in on itself. Huge cracks formed, massive bodies of rock slid over each other, taking more millions of years to do so. The end result was the Cape Fold Mountains. The sedimentary rock strata in the Swartberg Range run almost vertical when once they lay flat, and the limestone on which they lie is exposed in a fault which lies for 38 kilometers along their southern foothills. It is in this type of stone that all the world's great cave systems are found, and it is towards the most important point in this ancient bed of rock that we are headed, the entrance to the Cango Caves complex. Our trip today is going to take us way beyond the brightly illuminated halls that stand open to the public. Our destination lies deep in the almost inaccessible heart of this ancient rock. Caves formed an important physical and spiritual home to our early ancestors. As one enters the mouth of Cango, you see evidence of many fires built layer upon layer. They reveal that people have been visiting here for almost 100,000 years. Recent startling archaeological discoveries reveal that this region can claim for itself the title of the true birthplace of modern man. Perhaps those early hunters didn't know what lay beyond the circle of light cast by their fire at the mouth of Cango. But it was soon after the arrival of European settlers in the area that the secrets of the darkness began to be plundered. Visitors started making the long journey to this place in a trickle at first, and then in ever-increasing numbers. They wanted to see for themselves if the tales of huge spaces filled with towering, statuesque columns were true. They wanted to stand dumbstruck before the long-hidden beauty which the action of water over massive lengths of time had created. They wanted to see the evidence of a force of nature that worked to a different clock, one that measures its changes in thousands of years, rather than jerks of the second hand. And sometimes they just wanted to have their photographs taken there. But our journey is taking us way beyond these impressive early chambers, beyond easy access to air and sunshine. Cango is unique amongst tourist caves in the world in that it offers an adventure route, a chance to get intimate with formations and experience something of the thrill of discovery. The formations that form the basis of this adventure route, the Devil's Chimney and Workshop, are the outer extent of the part of the caves that is accessible to visitors. But they lie at the very beginning of an entirely separate wing of Cango. Johnny van Wassenaar and his many sons were the custodians of this cave from the turn of the last century. And John was in the habit of telling people how custodians of this cave from the turn of the last century. And John was in the habit of telling people how he had wandered off on his own with a supply of candles and had found vast new cave systems. He even spoke of many dark hours following the course of an underground river. So there'd always been a suspicion that there were other chambers to be explored.
This was the known extent of Cango 1 up until March of 1972. And there was a guide who used to lunch lying there having a cigarette. And he noticed the air was pulling strongly backwards. So what he did was he brings in himself chisels, hammers and things like that, started breaking through this tunnel, and then eventually on the 28th of September 1972 he went through for the first time into what would be known as Cango 2.
We wiggle along the route that took Luther de Blanche 6 months of lonely, dark labour to hack through the rock. This is Cango 2, or the Wonder Cave. In the rarefied air of this inner chamber, you get a feel for what Cango 1 might have looked like before 200 years of visitors and constant human intervention. Here, the temperature changes created by our bodies and the carbon dioxide we breathe out are detrimental to the growing crystals. It is a very delicate world. How are these formations created? Rainwater picks up carbon dioxide from plant life as it percolates through the soil, forming a very weak carbonic acid. This dissolves minute portions of the limestone. Then the water runs into force in the rock and finds itself in a cave. In the air of the cave, the CO2 dissolves out of the water again, causing the dissolved calcite to crystallize. But it is the multitude of forms that this crystallization takes that gives rise to the wonder that gave this cave its name. It is a crystal world where each new formation seems to have a personality of its own. Yet there are a couple of key personality types that we can identify. There are the dripstone stalactites, formed by crystallizing droplets as they run from the roof of the cave. The dripstone stalagmites are the counterparts they create rising to meet them from the floor. When these two join, they form a column. Flowstone is a smooth deposit of calcite created along the floor or walls of the cave. Rimstone is a crystalline deposit formed around the rim of what were once standing pools of water. Shelfstone is also formed on the surface of water that once stood at an unchanging level. And then there are the helictites. These shapes, which defy gravity, are the most beguiling of cave formations. And there seems to be a limited understanding of why a deposit might develop into a helictite. About 2.5 kilometers from the entrance, and the deeper we move into these caves, the more the mystery deepens. We're shown the skeleton of a genet cat lying where it curled up to die. How it got this far from its hunting grounds, how long ago it died, no one knows. Even deeper are the bones of numerous bats. Again, these might be much more ancient than the innocent whiteness suggests. Some have been covered over by flowstones, suggesting that these creatures have not flapped a wing for thousands of years. But again, how did they get here? Was there once an opening in this part of the cave? Is there possibly still one somewhere? And then there are the rose crystals, one of the great treasures of Cango. Why the crystallization took this magical form here and nowhere else is something no one can answer. The more the questions mount up, the greater the impulse becomes to accept that this is a world of mystery and wonder that has to be taken on its own terms, marveled at, and not interrogated too closely. It is a challenge to our need always to understand the whys. It is an invitation to live in the beguiling aura generated by great mystery. It is a glimpse back to the primordial state of man when he spent his life in awe at the inexplicable and awesome power of the natural world which surrounded and contained him. At the end of Cango 2 is a narrow descent. We worm our way deeper into the intestines of the mountain. With each descent we move into a more recently created section of caves, assuming that the lower caves are long remain filled with water. At the bottom of this descent is a pool. We know that beyond this pool is Cango 3, another massive chamber rumored to be even more wonderful than the last. The trouble is that it will take a daunting and dangerous 180-meter crawl to get there. The water from the pool has to be drained in order to gain access to the tunnel which feeds it. Once we're inside, the river will fill the pool again within 2 hours, sealing us off completely. We have to rely on a guide who will arrive here a good few hours hence. He will drain the pool again to allow us out. The tunnel is too narrow to allow you to look back once you have entered. Most of our careful preparations were for this intimidating leg of the expedition. We are the first group to make this trip for more than a decade, and the last that will make it for many decades to come. It's been decided that once our camera has brought back its images, the cave will be returned to the same motionless darkness which it has known for the preceding multitude of centuries. No one will come this way again. Hauling equipment on hands and knees with the mountain pressing down on your back is an exhausting challenge, even to the most hardened caver. An air of achievement and expectation is shared in the clay-walled cavern at the end of the tunnel. Hein Gersner is the director of Cango, and this is his first glimpse of Cango 3. As soon as we start to follow the decades-old tracks of those who pioneered this cave, our progress slows to a crawl. Not because the tracks are hard to follow, they're as clear as the day they were made, because the formations that swim into the light from our helmets are so breathtaking. This chamber is more than a kilometer long, and the structures which fill it show the Earth at its most invented. Sometimes whimsical and delicate, sometimes huge and awe-inspiring. They seem to jostle with each other for attention. It seems almost sacrilegious to shine a light on something that has been fashioned in total darkness for so many millions of years. But when one does, the revelation is the way the formation responds to it. It throws light back, it sucks it into its core and swirls it around. It plays with light, it refracts it from its multitude of polished surfaces. The cave becomes a dance of water and light and stone. find out what the director at Cango felt about this remote wing of his working environment.
I think one gets more silent as you go on, because it's really awesome if you compare that to the rest of the system. But it also tends to be unique. It's got its own flavors and colors, and sort of different from even Cango 2, was already very impressive. If you look at the sheer size of some of these formations and cabins, these amazing calcite floors that sort of stretches forever, and then sort of back to absolute detail that I've never seen anywhere in the world. I think this is the youngest of the system, which is sort of hard to believe if you look at the size of the formation and all the crystallization that has taken place there. But then again, it was sealed off from the other day by that water tunnel that we call through. So they, from sort of crystallization conditions wise, Cango 3 was definitely the better off of these two caves.
Beyond Cango 3, having now travelled more than 4 kilometres in, we find the tunnel leading to Cango 4. A small party decide to have a look. It's another 70-metre crawl. No! Someone has been here many years before. We had wind of the fact that there were a few relics from the past here, and we took it upon ourselves to update them and to celebrate our own achievement. How many more caves are there? This is the most frequently asked question by visitors to Cango. We don't know. We know there are many. There are more mysteries of all descriptions. That is all we know. Somehow, after spending a few days at the heart of Cango, the unexplored and unexplained no longer seems so tantalizing. There's no more desire to unravel the mystery, to penetrate the enigma. It has been drained away like the water that fashioned this symphony in crystal. There's simply a desire to sit and marvel at the wonder of it all.